Chapter 12. Stay away from him. Looking at the delighted handsome youth, Shun'er's slim eyebrows wrinkled. Not paying attention to his call, she turned away. Miss Shun'er. Looking at Shun'er from the side, the handsome but pale young man became immediately anxious and quickly crossed to block her from the front. Blocked by the youth, Shun'er stopped her steps. Her pair of long and beautiful eyes were lazily narrowed, staring at him. Yet she did not utter a single word. Miss Shun'er stared at by pupils that were like water drops, and despite the fact that he was used to flirting with beauties, his breathing became somewhat hurried. His clever tongue had lost all of its use for the moment. Jialio, young master. If there isn't anything urgent, please get out the way. I still have to do something. Looking at the somewhat flushed youth, Shun'er finally spoke. Her soft and young voice made the young man's pale face flush with a sick red. Hey, Miss Shun'er, have you come to the market to buy something? I'm quite free right now, so why don't we look around the market together? Taking a deep breath within his mind, Jialio's smile was open and gentle. This smile, along with his status and handsomeness, had successfully landed him quite a few girls. Jialio, young master. I already said that I have something to do. Can you move aside? Shun'er's small mouth curves upward and her voice was smooth without any hint of irritation. Being rejected by Shun'er, the edges of Jialio's mouth twitched, but he kept his smile and pulled out a bracelet from his pockets. The bracelet was a light blue gold color and was made from blue gold. From the bracelet hanged a smooth green ball like monster core. A soft green was emitted from the monster core and scattered its light on the bracelet, giving it a special hue. Looks like this intricate bracelet costs a lot. Hey, since Miss Shun'er has something to do, then Jialio won't block you anymore. Jialio tightly clutched the bracelet and smiles. This was a bracelet that I just bought in the market. Even though it's not too expensive, it has a level 1 wood attribute monster core, which greatly helps in the recovery of Doki. Since Miss Shun'er hasn't become a dojo yet, this bracelet is perfect for you. This is just a small gift of mine, so please don't say no. After all, I would lose space in front of my underlings. At the end, Jialio purposefully lowered his voice, and the underlings around him, as if it was a play, grinned on cue. Looking at Jialio's actions, Shun'er's brow lifted. She didn't know how to deal with such a person. Right when she was about to refuse, her sight fell onto the green monster core on the bracelet and remembered how Xiaoyan was busily trying to find a wood attribute monster core. Her long eyelashes lightly blinked and her impassive face relaxed a bit. Looking at Shun'er's relaxed face, Jialio's heart flutters happily and quickly pushes the wood attribute bracelet forward. Miss Shun'er, there's no need to be courteous. Jiali clan and Shao clan are both in the top 3 clans of Wu-Tang City, so exchanging little gifts is common. I'll take the bracelet and remove the monster core and give to Xiaoyan Jiji. As for the bracelet, when he's not paying attention, I'll throw it away. With this mischievous thought, Shun'er didn't hesitate anymore and stretches her hand out, about to take the bracelet. Suddenly a hand grabs her hand and stops her from taking the bracelet. Right when her hand was grabbed, Shun'er pauses in shock before having the Doki in her body flowing in order to protect herself. But right when her hand was about to go free from the grasp, a young male-ish MPH made her obediently stop struggling. Looking behind her, Shun'er saw Xiaoyan. When her sight moved a bit higher, she saw a harsh young face. Don't you know what he's like? Scowling at Shun'er, Xiaoyan criticized himself in his mind. Then he looks up and says, Jialio, young master, your thought is graciously accepted by Shun'er, but as for the gift, you should take it back. Looking at the destroyed atmosphere, a hint of anger flashed within Jialio's eyes. But, in front of Shun'er, he tried to keep his gentlemanly air and waxy smiles. Xiaoyan, young master, I saw that Miss Shun'er didn't have any jewelry, so I wanted to help her a bit. Do you not want to let her have a few small trinkets to accentuate her beauty? helplessly sighing. Xiao Yan glances at the wood attribute bracelet in Jia Liao's hand and took out another green bracelet and with some frustration asks, "Do you really like bracelets? Here you go. Don't take other people's stuff for no reason. I already told you that there is no such thing as a free lunch. The ones who offer free stuff always have a hidden motive." With your innocent look, you may have been sold by someone and still wouldn't know what had happened. Hearing Xiao Yan's words that were obviously directed at him, Jia Liao's face becomes cold. But when he saw the bracelet on Xiao Yan's hand, he couldn't help but laugh. The bracelet in Xiao Yan's hands, from a material standpoint, couldn't have costed more than 5 gold coins, while his wood attribute bracelet, which had an authentic monster core, cost an entire 1,000 gold coins. The two bracelets, no matter how you look at it, either price or actual usefulness, had a huge difference, and Xiao Yan's bracelet couldn't even compare to the wood attribute bracelet. So, when Jia Liao saw Xiao Yan giving such a poor bracelet to the beautiful Shimmer, he couldn't help but criticize Xiao Yan. "Xiao Yan, I know that you don't have a high position in your clan, but why would you give such pitiful thing to Shimmer?" Ignoring Jia Liao's taunt, Xiao Yan looked at the young girl who was staring at the bracelet in his hand and hurriedly asked, "Do you want it or not? If you don't, then I'll just throw it away." It was only 2 to 3 gold coins. Hot, hearing Xiao Yan's words, not only did Jia Liao start laughing, his underlings also started to laugh at Xiao Yan with a ridiculing tone. But the ridiculing laugh didn't continue for long before being cut off as if they had just had their necks cut off. On everyone was a hilariously stunned face. Xian who had been stunned, responded quickly to Xiao Yan's words. Her 2 hands almost instinctively reached out and snatched the bracelet in Xiao Yan's hand. After getting the bracelet, Xian realized what she had done. Perhaps she had acted a bit too impatient. A light red blush appeared on her delicate face, but Xian wasn't like other people, and after a slight period of embarrassment, she graciously hooked the bracelet onto her white wrist. Raising her head and giving a coy smile, she said, "Thank you, Xiao Yan Gg." With an ugly face, Jia Liao stared at Xian, who was quite intimate with Xiao Yan. On his face was apparent jealousy, and he said, "Hey, I didn't realize that Miss Xian's preferences were so unique. I guess I've been mistaken." Xiao Yan glances at Jia Liao in front of him, and his gaze landed on the gold star at his chest. He strangely thought, when I saw him last year, he was only 9 doing Qi right. Who would have thought that he would be successful in compressing his dope Qi cyclone? But to become a docher at the age of 21, his talent is barely decent. Seeing that Jia Liao had no intention of leaving, Xiao Yan pursed his lips. His wasn't affected by the power and status behind Jia Liao, and since the Shao clan and Jia Li clan didn't have good relations in the first place, there was no need for him to act humble. Stroking his nose, Xiao Yan lightly said, "Jia Liao, young master, your womanizer habits are known by the entire Wu-Tang city. Xian is still young and doesn't have time to play with your flirting games, so hopefully you can go after other girls in the future. Stay away from him." After speaking to Jia Liao, Xiao Yan ignored the green-faced Jia Liao and used his age as an advantage to arrogantly speak to Xian. "Okay." Xian's agile eyes blinked and nodded without any hesitation. To her, Jia Liao was just a stranger that she saw a couple of times, while Xiao Yan, for her, was irreplaceable. Since Xiao Yan told her to stay away from Jia Liao, she'll just stay away from him. The choice wasn't a hard one for Xian.